This segment of Labatt Buffalo Main Event is brought to you by
O Restaurant and Lounge, 3047 Sheridan Drive in Amherst. It's not just a place to eat, it's something to do.
Welcome back to Labatt Buffalo Main Event. Bob Gaughan along with Brad Ryder. And it's now time for the O Restaurant and Lounge email segment. Go to our website, buffalomainevent.com. Click us an email, and if you do, and we use it on the air, you get a $25 gift certificate to O Restaurant and Lounge. Brad, the first email comes from Dalton in Tonawanda, and Dalton asks, Brad, what were your thoughts when Ryan Miller was injured? What went through your head?
What went through my head? What went out of my phone to other people via text message was either Darcy Regier has to acquire a goaltender by 10 o'clock tonight, or he needs to trade half of the roster and start preparing for 2012. Ryan Miller is the ticket to potential playoffs for this team. And if Ryan Miller's not there, they clearly do not have a goaltender they can go to and trust. I mean, what did he give up a goal on the first shot? Well, and he looked good in the shootout that Thibault did, but Lindy Ruff, I've heard him speak about Thibault, and it really sounds like he doesn't ever want to play him on purpose. No. And that's not a good sign.
And I don't either. No, so I agree with him. I agree with him 100%. You know, it's shocking to me because I know a lot of people talked about disappointing Sabres, and Ryan Miller's name came up, and I'm thinking, Ryan Miller, maybe he's been disappointing in shootouts, but I thought he's been, pretty darn good. He had a great January, and I agree with you. If this guy goes down, it's over.
Email number 2 comes from Miranda in Hamburg, and she asks, who is Fred Dean and why is he in the Hall of Fame? Bob? I've got no answer for that.
Well, Fred Dean played with the San Diego Chargers and San Francisco 49ers. He was a defensive end, and I guess the reason he's in the Hall of Fame is because people think that he was one of the first that kind of set the trend for light defensive tackles, the ones that you might see. Dwight Freeney, for instance, that 230-pound defensive end that comes off the edge and is a real, great pass rusher. He was a great pass rusher for 2 of the San Francisco 49ers teams. But it is bad. I will say. No, you're right.
Great, because I watched those.
Did he pass the eye test? And you're absolutely right. You're saying that you saw those San Francisco 49ers teams. You saw those teams that went to the Super Bowl, and he didn't pass your eye test. And you're right. He didn't pass my eye test either. I think that a guy like Richard Dent that didn't get in was better than Fred Dean.
Elsie Greenwood even.
Right. Well, but Elsie Greenwood's in. But I'm saying Richard Dent was on the ballot this year. Richard Dent did not get into the NFL Hall of Fame, and for the eye test, just the eye test, forget about stats, the eye test, I thought Richard Dent was better than Fred Dean.
Yeah, I don't think there's a question there, and they're going to get, they want their pass rushers. I heard so much leading up to this about how the pass rushers were going to be a part. Bruce Smith is next year. Yeah. There's your pass rusher. You'll be fine.
No, you're right. And
you don't need to force the issue. Andre Reed's still sitting on the outside looking in, and that's ridiculous.
Sometimes I think you look at it, and I think the committee looked at it and said, there's a great discrepancy between offensive and defensive players. So I think subconsciously they put defensive players in, and when you're saying, and I'm saying that they put the wrong one in.
Right. That too, and they're not building a team. They don't have to play.
Yeah, right.
They don't have to worry about fielding positions. They don't have to play.
Thank you for your emails. It is Labatt Buffalo Main Event. Coming up next, we will talk to former Buffalo Bill and now Bills broadcaster Mark Kelso on Labatt Buffalo Main Event.
The 3rd Annual Labatt Blue USA Hockey Pond Hockey Championship, Eagle River, Wisconsin. Grab your own pond hockey helmet toque in specially marked cases. No purchase necessary, must be at least 21 years of age or older.